What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the greatest gaming podcast on the internet, the One Up Gamescast. I'm one of your hosts, Carl Sinclair, joined as always by my brother from another mother, the man with the plan, Master Chief in the streets, Master Cheeks in the sheets, Jack and Gib. How you doing, brother?
Doing all right, mate. It's been a week, not a lot of gaming, but it has given me a question I want to ask you.
Yes.
How often? I know this is like straight off the bat, but how often do you think about the ROG Ally X?
It's actually crazy you bring that up because that's something I've literally thought about today. Like, it's actually crazy that you brought that up. I was looking, there was a news story that I specifically wanted to talk about today on the podcast. I'm like, I'll have a look on Press Start. They've probably got something for it. And they've got a whole article about the ROG Ally X. And I'm like, oh man. When I see the article, I was literally just thinking about this thing the other day. I kind of want one, but it's also like, it's the thing of like, when you get older, you have kids, it's sort of like, how do I justify it? Am I going to use it enough? I probably would, and I'll probably get one eventually, but
I'm in the same boat. It's like I mean, look, I don't really have a spare $1,600 to splash on this thing to be like, so this is all hypothetical, but I'm in the same boat as like, what value would I get out of that device? Probably about fuck all. Would it be the greatest thing I own? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, well, I mean,
You know?
there you go. There's some value right there. It's the best thing in the world. I'm tempted. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, I have to wait. Like the what's it called? The PlayStation Portal. Like there have been times where it's like I think that thing is freaking useless, and it's like I'll just use my phone. But there are times when I think, hey, a bigger screen and a controller. You know,
always ready to go, sitting at the bedside shelf. Or
exactly. It's like it's starting to become more reasonable in my head. So who knows? Maybe with like Christmas sale on top of that, the fat discount. Maybe like it might be something that I eventually pick up. But as of right now, I've got no plans. The new ROG Ally is a bit higher up in that pecking order, in my opinion. Like that thing could tempt me a lot more, and it's yeah, I don't know.
It's just a lot more coin, though, isn't it? But,
it really is. It really is. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it does look pretty cool. It is cheaper than a ROG phone at the moment, so you know, there's something.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, it's true. Far out. Man,
ROG phone dropped the headphone jack, so don't know.
I love that the ROG phones have a headphone jack. I love that so much. I don't know. There's just something about it's like that. It's like that's their equivalent of like, you know, the secret thing they don't want anybody to know. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, we have this. Don't tell anyone, but you enjoy. Okay, you enjoy it. It's for you. It's like, oh. Thank you so much. You knew exactly what I wanted. Nah, how are you, mate? You doing good?
Yeah, no, doing all right. Just a hectic week, doing a bit of work after hours and things of that nature. So hopefully next week's a bit more chill, a bit more gaming. I have been playing some more Forbidden West actually. I know it's been 2 years since that game came out, and I think I'm 2 missions from the end. So we're pretty fucking close. It's been a long time coming. That weight will be lifted from my shoulder. It's a great game. This is like I'm not complaining about it. It's just I don't know what it is. Like it'll just be like months between games. Don't really know why. Maybe it's just because it's on PlayStation and that's not really that console. Sometimes doesn't even have a power cable in it. I don't know. Maybe it's just a convenience thing. But fuck, once that's done, I feel like I can play anything I want then.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
But you know, I'm a bit behind on Ratchet & Clank's Uncharted. So there's a bit I could get to. So. Looking forward to that. What have you been playing this week? And how have you been as well?
I've been good. Honestly, the only real gaming I've done is like just been on stream. I haven't really done anything like extra. So
a bit of streaming though.
A bit of Kingdom Hearts, Birth by Sleep, finished Terra's story off. Really happy, got the Ultimate Blade and all that stuff. Did everything I needed to get the little cherry on top. Like, I one-shot the final bosses. Like, that's how much grinding I did. I think my final time on that playthrough was like 87 hours, 88 hours or something. So I've just started the Ventus playthrough, and that's already at like, I think that's at like 7 hours. So it's been good. A little bit grinding there, which is good. Played the First Descendant. I'm enjoying my time with it. There are definitely issues with it, and we'll talk about it later on. But yeah, it's fun. And then yeah, just did a night of Black Flag. Yeah, Black Flag's still good. Like it's crazy how good Black Flag is. The boat stuff is like, when Black Flag came out, that boat stuff was like, you know, it was groundbreaking stuff, you know, like, oh man, like you could actually like ride the boat and then get off the boat and then do all this stuff. And now I look at it and just how much it's been used and all these games that are doing it. It's like, fuck, man, I just want to stab people. I'm so sick of driving this boat. Like, my goodness. But it's still good. Like, it's like proof that like since that was introduced, it hasn't really got much better. So go Black Flag. Good for Black Flag. But yeah, no, just a lot of that
weird
stuff.
thing where you know it could be better, but it's no one's really.
Yeah.
You know, Sea of Thieves isn't really comparable because it's multiplayer, I guess. But yeah, it's interesting.
And from what people were telling me in stream, like when I was playing Black Flag and when we were playing Sea of Thieves, it's like Skull and Bones is doing so, like, because like apparently the ship has a stamina bar, so it can't always go max speed. Doesn't matter about the wind. It like needs to take a breath. And it's like, oh, that's so bad. Like, oh, you can't get off your boat. Oh god damn it. Like, oh man, I mean, like I said, I'll try it eventually. It's just not high up on the list of like priority right now. So Skull and Bones will just have to wait. But yeah, no, not a lot of gaming outside of stream. But hopefully this week I'll have a little bit more time. But yeah, no, well, mate, it's great that you bring up the Horizon, because the first thing I want to talk about, and this is from Press Start, is the fact that it looks like the Horizon Zero Dawn show has come to a halt. It's like they've hit the hard stop button on it.
Is this the one that was set in the past or something?
Yeah. So I'll read the article they have up on Press Start, and then we can talk about it. It looks like the production of PlayStation and Netflix's upcoming TV series adaptation of the Horizon games has come to a halt in the midst of a wider story of allegations towards showrunner Steve Blackman. Rolling Stone reported on a significant HR complaint put forward by 12 staff who claimed that Blackman had fostered a hostile workplace through toxic bullying, manipulative, and retaliatory behavior. Blackman, who has been named showrunner on the Horizon Dawn series when it was revealed back in 2022, has called these claims entirely untrue and completely absurd in the face of some fairly damning and comprehensive reporting by Rolling Stone. Now, in the time since the initial reporting, the article's author, Cheyenne Roundtree, has also revealed Rolling Stone was informed that Horizon Zero Dawn, along with another show, are no longer moving forward at Netflix. Horizon Zero Dawn is an exceptionally well-crafted game with wonderful characters not often seen in rank and file of the gaming world, Blackman had said when the Netflix show was announced. Quote, Guerrilla Games has created an incredibly lush and vivid world of man and machine who find themselves on a collision course to oblivion. Their salvation comes in the form of a young female warrior named Aloy who has no idea she's the key to saving the world. Suffice it to say, yes, Aloy will be the main character in our story. My writing partner on this, Michelle Loverett, and I are thrilled to be able to expand this remarkable IP into a series of all types of viewers, end quote. It's hard to believe that PlayStation will give up on seeing the Horizon series come to fruition, especially as it bets big on enriching its most prolific properties through movies, TV adaptations, and cross-platform efforts like LEGO Horizon Adventures. So there's every chance we will see the show materialize, whether at Netflix or elsewhere, just hopefully under better circumstances. So that sucks. That's sad.
But I can't. I have really mixed feelings though, because like, in some ways I really want this show because it'd be cool to see, you know, the other side of the coin in this game. But at the same time, we get so much of that information through the audio logs and shit that you sort of like, you know, it's not like they can really surprise us that wildly. It would have to be, I don't know. You know what? I'm going to summarize this, Kyle. I'm going to summarize my feelings for this. I can wait.
Yeah.
You know, if it gets made, I will watch it. I will probably enjoy it, and I'll be happy it exists. If this cunt losing his job is required, fine. You know, like, I'm not personally. I would rather the people that have to work around him have a better work life than me get this show early. I can wait. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I think this is an acceptable response to old mate. That's the conclusion I've come to. How do you feel about this?
I mean, it sucks. I'll be interested to see what actually comes of this because, like, for all intents and purposes, this toxic bullying, manipulative, and retaliatory behavior, like, this is the first time he's been accused of it, and this is not the first show that he's, like, been the big man on. Like, he was, like, one of the... He was the showrunner of the Umbrella Academy, and that ran for, like, 5 seasons, and at no point were any allegations laid against him. So I just want to know, like, what set him off here, if the story, like, you know, if it ends up being true, I'm sure it is. I mean,
interesting if the 12 people are across multiple productions or if they're all just from the latest one.
That's my big question, you know what I mean? It's like, it's like one person says that, okay, we'll look into it. 2 people say it, there might be something here, but that many people coming forward is sort of like,
A lot.
That's interesting. Like, that's, yeah, very, very interesting. But no, I think that...
I guess I'm just saying, like, as much as I want to see this show, I will happily wait for that to be figured out. You know, like that needs to be sorted. And if that means he's not running the show, then that will be the right decision. If it turns out he's all G, then get back to it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's what will happen.
Yeah.
To be honest, like, I'm fine waiting for this show. I feel like nobody has really been talking about it. There's so many things here. There's so many conflicting reports on what the show's even about. Like, he's talking like, yes, Aloy's the main character. Like, okay. Like, that's not what all the rumors have been saying.
1,000 years ago?
Yeah, yeah. This could be another one of those things where it's like, he could think that, like, Aloy is, like, multiple people, you know, like, spoilers.
Yeah.
She's a clone. Like... You were like, oh yeah, we're gonna. This show's about old Aloy, not the young one, not the female one. Which, I mean, could be possible. I mean, there's all that stuff with Star Wars Acolyte that one of the actor who plays Yord, was in an interview and basically was like, oh man, like, dude, when Anakin Skywalker blew up the Death Star, like, he killed so many people. Da 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 da. It was. Anakin never blew up the Death Star. Luke blew up the Death Star. Like, he's just way off with everything. And it's like, oh, man. And this is like, he said it in multiple interviews as well. Like, it wasn't just one flop. He, like, said it multiple times. And I think it was the second interview. He said that after the previous statement was, I'm a massive fan of Star Wars. And then he says that statement again for the second time. It's like, oh, mate, you are not having a good time. Holy crap. But yeah, Horizon show on hold. It's on hold for a good reason. You know what I mean? It's not because the show isn't like getting off the ground. It's on hold because they're trying to sort some shit out. That's what I'm saying.
Like, that being sorted out is more important. If it turns out, he needs to be fucking kicked off, then great. I hope the show doesn't get cancelled, though. I hope it finds footing. I don't know. Horizon, we've spoken about this at length on and off the podcast. Horizon's just in that weird position where it's like, it's very popular, but it hasn't quite hit that level of mainstream that would normally commit a TV show and side games and comics and graphic novels and all the shit that this game has. Like, I don't know. It's I guess Sony's just placing a bet on it, you know? Which is fun.
Its cultural impact is not as large as other IP that Sony own, but for some reason Sony seem to believe that this is their golden goose. This is our multimedia, multi-platform IP that's gonna, you know.
I wonder if the risk is lower. Like, I feel like if you started fucking with Uncharted with some of this shit and got it wrong, you wouldn't want to hurt Uncharted. But if they hurt Horizon, the game, I just don't think it would. I think if the TV show was bad, would it affect sales of the game? Like, it wouldn't make them worse. You know? Like, whereas, like, I feel like you could bring some of the other franchises down, maybe, by doing poorly in other areas.
I mean, yeah, there is an Uncharted movie.
It's not that amazing, I guess, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine. It's fine.
And people still love the shit out of those games, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just feel like, I think, like... It almost feels, in a way, that, like, Sony Sony look at their like whole smorgasbord of like first party stuff, right? And it all does gangbuster. But Horizon is that one that does gangbuster, but like is sort of like, we still talk about God of War. Horizon isn't always brought up in conversation, and I think they're like, why? Fine, you won't bring it up in conversation, we'll make you bring it up in conversation. Here's a comic book, here's an action figure, here's a spin-off game, here's a TV show, here's this, here's that. If they actually like step back and thought about it, like what would actually like boost up Horizon is, yeah, do a TV show, do an animated TV show. Don't do a live action one. Do an animated TV show. Get the actual voice actors in if you want to expand the world in that way. You should do you should do an animated TV show. You should have episodes that offset each other. You should have an episode set in the past, episode set in the future, episode set in the past, episode set in the future. Sort of like tell a cohesive story that fills in the gaps that the game isn't able to fill in that 38-hour playthrough. You know what I mean? There are still so many different areas of the universe that are untapped. Use an animated TV show to do that. Animated shows are great. Look at Clone Wars. You know what I mean? Like Clone Wars has expanded the Star Wars universe into like a whole different realm that is now being explored in live action. Characters that were born in animated form are now being expanded in live action in games and stuff like that. Horizon could do that. Like take like these awesome video game characters and expand them into animation. And not only that, then you get like kids on board as well. You could definitely get kids watching an animated film, because those are sort of the people that you also want to sort of be tapping into. You know, you want to be tapping into that generation of kids that are getting to that point where they will start to play mature games, and you want them to get onto Horizon. You want them to be like, oh yeah, oh, that's an animated cartoon that I seen. Da, 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 da. Oh yeah, I'll play this game now. Oh shit.
Like where the Lego games at a bit.
Yeah, that's that's the whole point.
Stone.
That's a good idea. It's a weird idea, but I think it's a good idea. I just think it's going to be a weird Lego game. I don't think it's going to be a traditional Lego game where I think it might have actually like fucked and went off hard, but it's going to be, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Look, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's good that Sony's trying shit. You know, like someone like, you know, we complain that we get a lot of sequels and you know things are stagnant or whatever. And I guess with Horizon they're still trying shit. I would love to see, you know, if we're getting wild with our side games, you know, I know we're always talking about pirate games, but what about like, you know, in the world of Horizon, go back down to the Caribbean and like create a pirate game with tribes and stuff that live in that area and just like, you know, recreate I'm going to fuck this up, but like the 1600s or whatever, you know, the ideal pirate time is.
I mean, yeah, like, honestly, Horizon's in that like awesome position where it's established, but it's not so established that you can't like add more to the universe. You know what I mean? Like anytime you add something to Star Wars now, it's under a fucking microscope. If you wanted to do something with Horizon,
yeah,
you could do whatever the fuck you wanted. You know what I mean? It's still gonna feel fresh.
That perfect like modern / medieval vibe to it. Like go and get fucking wild.
They could 100% do it. Yeah,
I support them doing whatever. I just definitely happy to wait for this TV show if that's what it takes.
yeah, no, for sure. So here's we're going to talk about this because it poses an interesting question, and I'll read the article and then I'll pose a question. But this is from IGN, and basically I'm going to read their dumb title. It's the Dino Crisis for Capcom as it abandons new Exoprimal content just a year after launch. Right? I have a problem with that title. We'll get to it though. So, Capcom's co-op dinosaur game Exoprimal will not receive any new content. The company has announced just a year after the game came out. The shooter launched in July of 2023 and as a brand new intellectual property from Capcom. And an attempt to create a successful live service. Despite various updates and crossovers with other Capcom franchises such as Street Fighter, that attempt has not been as successful as hoped. According to SteamDB, Exoprimal had a 24-hour peak concurrent player count of just 66 on Valve's platform, with over 41 concurrent players at the time of the article's publication. Capcom said with the release of Title Update 4, all planned Exoprimal Seasons content has been finished. After Season 4, which concludes on July 11th, Season 1 will return, making the beginning of a recycling of already released content. From there, a new season will begin on the first of each month. In addition to season passes 1 to 3 will be available for sale again. This will allow players to obtain items from all seasons, Capcom explained. Essentially, Exo Primal will be put on a season 1 to 4 cycle going forward. Capcom insisted all online services will continue to be available, so Exo Primal will remain available to play despite the company essentially walking away from the game. All gameplay modes will remain available to play, including the main Dino survival mode, as well as endgame content such as Savage Gauntlet and Time Loop Rebellion. If you're playing alone or match with the only other players, bots will be added. So that you can fully enjoy the Hammerhead story and reach the ending, Capcom added. The Exo Primal team appreciates your interest and support, and we hope to see you in the war game. Exo Primal's announcement back in 2022 was seen as a death knell for a potential Dino Crisis revival, but Capcom teased fans recently with a tweet of a solitary image to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the much-loved dinosaur horror game. And the image was basically the key art of Dino Crisis with like the raptor claw with some blood on it. In August last year, Capcom admitted to challenges given Exo Primal is a new IP, but pointed to the fact that it had more than 1 million players as a positive. Given that the game is a new IP, the situation is not without its challenges. However, we view the fact that the game has amassed over 1 million players to be positive, Capcom said at the time. Going forward, we will continue to release content for the game while monitoring player behavior with an eye towards expanding sales. Capcom insisted it's expected Exo Primal would be a profitable project overall. It launched straight into Game Pass. I don't know why they put that there. Exo Primal does not currently feature on Capcom's list of platinum selling titles, which means it has sold less than 1 million copies. Yeah, I'm not going to go into their IGN review. So my big question is this, right? First off, I don't like the title, as it abandons new Exo Primal content just a year after launch. It's not abandoning anything, it's sunsetting. You know what I mean? The big question here is...
Yeah, I don't think this is some games get abandoned, sure, but I don't think that's fair here.
It's really not.
No one's fucking playing it, then what are they meant to do?
That's the thing. Like, how long are we expected for a game company to continue to produce content for a game that no one is playing? Is it a live service game? Yes. Guess what? The service is over. No one is participating, so why should they continue to service a game that is effectively dead? But they're still like, hey, we've done 4 seasons of content. Guess what? If anybody decides to jump into this game that we're keeping online in the next couple of years, we're just going to cycle through season 1 to 4 content. That's just going to, every month we're going to have a new season. That's a smart idea.
Other games that wrap up should take note of how that's being done.
Everything's going online for the first. They're adding bots for the first time ever. Like, it used to be you literally had to like link up with people in order to play, but they're adding bots, so even if you're the last person on planet Earth playing this fucking game, you can still play the game. Like, for all intents and purposes, they've gone, look, Exo Primal, clearly nobody wants to play this anymore. Here's what we're going to do. For the people that are still diehard, or for people that may want to jump in now that they know that the game is essentially dying, because you do see an influx of players when it's announced, hey, this game, it's going away. Like, we're not doing anything else with it. People go, awesome, this is my time to jump in. I'm not going to have to stick around after I'm done with it. I'm not going to have to deal with like missing out on anything. Everything's available for me. Like, a lot of people wait for a game to be done before they like jump into play. So the fact that they've gone, hey, we're adding bots so you can play whenever, we're cycling all the season content, so if you missed out on a season or you've missed out on content in the past, it's going to become available again. Like, it just feels like Capcom isn't just fucking throwing this game out to die. They've literally gone, all right, here's what we're going to do to make sure that the people that are playing and people that are interested in playing will have something to do, have something to enjoy, achieve, grind. I just don't like the way IGN's like, hey, they're abandoning this game. Are they? It sounds like the players abandoned it long before Capcom thought about jumping ship. So I don't understand where they get off saying they've abandoned the game.
Yeah, I agree. I think, yeah, it does pose that interesting question about like how long is acceptable to wait to sunset a game. I think it all comes down to the initial promise. Like, did they promise years of content?
They promised 4 seasons that they've delivered.
How much did it cost at release on PlayStation?
Like a standard $100, yeah, full price game.
Look, it's a tough one. Live service, I feel like publishers haven't realized yet that strapping the word live service onto a game comes with expectations. I think sometimes I think if you were a player and you enjoy live service games and you expect more than a year, I actually think that's a reasonable expectation. I do think you should be able to expect a few years. But, you know, on the flip side, I don't know, like, I was hoping you said wouldn't say it was like a full price game, because like the fact, so as an Xbox player, this comes out on Game Pass, has a year of content, 60 people are still playing it, and the publisher decides to wrap up. That seems reasonable as fuck. But I do appreciate if you spent $100 on the game a year ago. But I mean, that's the thing. There's 60 people playing it on a PC. Like, there can't be much more on console.
The thing is yeah, it's a full price game, but fucking single player games are full priced, and you pay for that. You play the game, you put it on your shelf, you don't touch it again. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people do that. Good? I mean, it was fine. It's like a third person, like basically you're in an exosuit. It's third person. You fight dinosaurs that come through time portals. There's a story attached to it. There's like multiplayer stuff and all that sort of stuff. It's not like a groundbreaking new franchise. It's a bit of fun to have with your friends. Like, that's why it thrived on Game Pass. It was the sort of thing you could download, have a bit of fun, get the hell out. You know what I mean? The only people that didn't get to like do that were like PlayStation people. Hey, I'm diehard PlayStation. I want to play this new game. I'm going to pay for it. Cool. You paid for it, and it sounds like you're not playing it anymore.
Yeah, it's really awkward.
It's also, they're not saying you can never play it again. They're literally telling you can jump in whenever you want. If you've paid for it, you can jump in and play everything. Everything we've dropped is still available. Like, everything you pay that $100 for is still here, plus more.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is a case-by-case basis. I really feel like in this instance it's perfectly reasonable that they've given a new IP a crack. Something everyone wants. Sorry, everyone wants new IP. It hasn't landed as well as they probably wanted it to. It's gotten 7s and 8s in the reviews, which isn't terrible, but, you know, if only 60 people are playing, I just don't know what they're meant to do, man. Whereas, if I compare this to something like Avengers, you know, I feel like it did fall short a little bit of the promise at the end there. But I don't know if that's fair for me to say, as I've got the opinion that Exoprimal sunsetting is fair. Is it fair for me to say Avengers was a rocky ending? I don't know. I feel like that maybe because that game came out and we were expecting it to be like a 9 or 10 and it came out. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's a level of like, what do you promise? What do you set expectations?
The problem is, right, is that's the thing. Exoprimal set expectations. At no point did they promise that it was going to be a fucking like 10 out of 10 game. They're like, hey, you're a guy in an exosuit shooting dinosaurs. We're going to add some multiplayer stuff as time goes on. We're trying something new. Everybody jumped in. Oh shit, it's a game where you're in an exosuit shooting dinosaurs. This is exactly what they told me it would be. Cool, I've had my fun, I'm out. Problem is, like Avengers for a long time, like, and Suicide Squad's the same. Like, they come with this fucking, hey, we're gonna tell you a great story. It's cinematic as fuck. There's so many cutscenes. Oh my god, it's so good. And you sit there and you do the same fucking thing for 80 fucking hours. And it's like, at least tell me I'm doing the same thing for 80 fucking hours. Don't lie to me and tell me that I've got some big fucking cinematic story that's gonna drag me through for 60 fucking hours and it's just not there. At least Exoprimal was like, you're gonna shoot a dinosaur.
They also have the weight of comparison with things like the Avengers, because Spider-Man in the Avengers compared to Insomniac Spider-Man, it just paints how bad it is so quickly. I
mean, even comparing Avengers to something that's comparable like Destiny, you know what I mean? It's basically effectively the same thing, and Destiny has got hours and hours worth of content that is different, diverse, and has story beats attached to it. The problem with Avengers is you have 3 different flavors. You have go to this facility and beat the fuck out of people, go to that facility and beat the fuck out of people, and just to put a little sprinkle of difference in there, we're gonna let you stay outside and punch people. It's ridiculous. And I played the shit out of Marvel's Avengers, man. Like, I maxed every character. Yeah. I played every story thread, and I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, I spent over 100 hours doing the exact same fucking thing. At least with Exoprimal, every time they showed it, they showed you doing the exact same fucking thing. You know what I mean? There was no edgy fucking cinematic trailer, fucking some developer going, we are pushing the boundaries of storytelling in video games. They were like, hello, welcome. This is Exosuit. This is gun. This is dinosaur. Use these 2 to kill this thing. Enjoy. Like, cool. Appreciate that. I'm out. I'll try. Oh, it's fun. I'm out. They never lied. And the thing is if like, if hey, after a year of content, 60 people are left playing, the freaking however many that bought the game, like you're not playing it. Don't get mad now because you know you're not getting new content for a game you're not playing. You've still got access to all the old content that you've clearly paid for. You're not playing it. The 60 people that are playing it are probably playing it on Games Pass. So why should they funnel money into this shit when they can funnel money into something that you actually want to play? Where's Devil May Cry? You know what I mean? Put more money into Street Fighter. That thing's doing gangbusters. There are better things to use this money for if it's just getting funneled into a game you're not touching. You're going to get butthurt, fine, but man.
I think I figured out how to quantify how I feel about a sunsetting game. Did the game under-deliver before it was sunset? You know, Marvel's Avengers, I would say, did under-deliver. So when it was sunset, it was disappointing. Hadn't reached its goals, hadn't reached its expectation. Did Exoprimal under-deliver? It doesn't sound like it did. And no one's playing it. So sunset seems reasonable.
Yeah.
I think that's how I'm going to think about it from now on. Whilst it was alive, did it under-deliver, you know? Yeah. When Battlefield 2042's turned off, I will say that game under-delivered. But at the same time, I won't miss it. So.
Did you see they've announced a crossover event?
DVD, by the way. Dead Space, crossing over with Dead Space. Yeah.
So many people are so stupid though, man. Did you say like this is the biggest crossover? This is the weirdest crossover. One, it's not the biggest. Two, why is it weird? They own both franchises. It's gonna this is what we've been telling EA to do with the fucking franchises for so long. It just sucks they're doing it with a game that's effectively dead. Like, why is this not an Apex crossover where people are actively playing 24/7? Like,
I mean, I in EB today, and Battlefield 2042 is $5 on the shelf. Right. Still not worth it, in my opinion, as someone who paid 100. But like, save the Dead Space crossover for the next Battlefield game. You know, maybe once a quarter, every 3 or 4 months, drop a crossover event for 3 or 4 weeks. You know, that would have been great. Look, that does assume that the next Battlefield's good. There's no guarantees.
True. And just before we move on, Suicide Squad announced their second season. And yes, it's Mr. Freeze. And yes, it's a woman. And yes, it's happening. It's happening.
Do you reckon that'll make season 4?
Yeah, I think so.
They've already promised 4 seasons, haven't they? Like, that's what they've at least promised, right?
They promised a year of content, is what they promised. Which
I reckon
is
they're
4 seasons.
They're gonna follow Exoprimal's footsteps to the fucking day, and I'm gonna sit here at the end and be like, not good enough.
It really isn't though. Like, another game that I've actively played and played the season 1 content. I'm just like, I just don't fucking understand how they're like, live service is like, it's not like a battle royale. And I think that's where we're going wrong, right? A battle royale is a very specific thing. It follows a formula. Live service should not be following a formula. It shouldn't be, hey, we need to have mission where you have to kill all these people, get tags, deliver it. Oh, here's another mission where you have to kill all these people and then run away and hide before a big explosion goes off. You know, like, add timer here, put that here. Like, that's not what live service means. A live service should mean we're going to be adding additional content periodically through the game's lifespan. It doesn't mean, hey, we're going to add a shit character that nobody wants to do the same fucking missions you've been doing for 80 hours. Instead of focusing on creating a character that nobody cares about, focus on, like, expanding the story with the characters you've freaking already got. Because you barely did anything with them anyway. I'm not going on this whole rant again.
Dude, I really miss expansion packs.
Yeah.
Or map packs, even. You
know what I miss? Fucking developers before 2010. I miss them. What happened to them? Poor bastards. I miss those guys. Alright. Let's move on to the topic of the show. So, First Descendant, a game I was pretty excited for, has finally come out. And it's had rough couple of days. So IGN has an article up basically talking about the problems they've been having after their launch. So I'm going to read this and then we're going to talk about First Descendant because we've both played it now. And I think IGN actually do touch on a couple of things that I have an issue with. But effectively, there've been a lot of launch hiccups, and in a way I can't blame them because it's Nexon who actually have a history of just abandoning games that don't do well. So in a way, it's also like, I don't think they were expecting this to do the numbers that it's actually doing. Like, we've had a lot of login issues, server issues, just an abundance of players jumping in, wanting to see what the hell's going on. It's the Helldivers thing, you know what I mean? Like, they were not expecting a massive launch. Holy shit, this is a bigger launch than we ever could have imagined. We're doing our best. We're really trying here. We're sorry. Here's some in-game currency. Here's some free stuff. Sorry, guys, we're trying our best. Oh, it's down, it's up, it's this, it's that. But there are some issues, and this definitely touches on that. So I'm going to read this article, okay? So the First Descendant has enjoyed a big launch, but it's also been married by a number of issues that developer Nexon has continued to apologize and offer compensation for. Since the free-to-play co-op focused looter shooter launched, a long list of issues have emerged, including frame rate problems, failure to deliver on promising items such as Twitch drops, and for some players, the failure to deliver items they've paid real-world money for. The latter issue revolves around a problem where customers have yet to receive items that they've bought the same item multiple times through the basket on Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox platforms. Developer Nexon issued an update on this mass caliber purchase error, promising a fix. In the meantime, it asked players to buy caliber items that are bought with the premium in-game currency itself, that are bought with real money. They've told them, don't buy it to avoid any inconvenience. For those who bought items from July 2nd and 4th and have yet to receive them, these purchases will be cancelled. Nexon warned that some measures will be taken for any further mass purchases until the error is resolved. We apologize once again for inconvenience caused by this error. We are working diligently to fix the issue as soon as possible to minimize inconvenience. Whew. Meanwhile, producer Lee Byung-jin published a developer chat to YouTube in which he thanked and apologized players. In the video, Nexon developer promised a hotfix that would optimize performance of the PlayStation 5 version. Okay, cool. So I'm not crazy. The First Descendant runs particularly poorly on the PS5. So I have experienced this. I thought maybe it was the game, and then I went and played it on Steam, and it actually ran pretty well. So I thought,
It runs surprisingly well on PC.
I was like, maybe this is an issue. So I went and played it on Xbox. Ran fine. I'm like, okay, so what's going on with the PlayStation 5 version? So I'm glad to know I'm not crazy, and that this is a legitimate problem that they're looking into. So that's good. There's work on those missing Twitch drop rewards, as well as a promised gun for sound improvements and crash fixes. A promise for gun sound improvements and crash fixes. So hopefully, yeah, soon. Interestingly, Legion offered an explanation for the sorts of the First Descendant's controversial third-party data collection and sharing policy that Nexon asked players to agree to before playing the game. It's personal information sharing, one of leading complaints amid the game's mixed Steam reviews. Nexon uses players in the First Descendant in order to improve it. Play by no rather nicknames they chose. Where's the... Okay, there's no explanation for the First Descendant's ultra-aggressive monetization, however, which some players have described as microtransaction hell. And I agree. $150 for a skin? Crazy. The only silver lining, though, is the $150 skins are like a fast track. Those skins, those Descendants, are available for you to craft in the game. It just takes a fucking hell of a lot of time. So about $150 to mitigate 30 hours? I don't think so. Despite all these problems, the First Descendant has enjoyed a big launch with a huge 239,513 peak concurrent players so far on Steam. That's enough to put the game in Steam's top 5 most played games. Sony and Microsoft do not share player numbers. I'm starting to think that maybe they should. Maybe they should.
I was just fucking thinking it'd be nice to know.
Yeah, I think they should. But yeah, okay, so First Descendant, right? Mate, I'm curious, because you've played it now. What are your thoughts?
it reminded me of how this is something that I've tried to avoid for years, but it's just reminded me how I've just never been able to click with looter shooters. You know, it's just like, I don't think there's anything wrong with the game. It's just reminded me that I don't really like looter shooters, you know? And I think that probably means it's doing what it's meant to, you know? I don't know, I haven't played enough of it, but it definitely has a Destiny vibe to it. But again, I didn't play a lot of Destiny. The guns feel surprisingly fun to play. Like, as in, at the first time you shoot the weapons, it's like, it feels a little light, if you will. But after probably 10 minutes, I was like, no, this actually feels fun. You know, it's not as tight as a COD or something, but it's quite fun. Some of the abilities you get are quite fun and quite diverse. I think, like, being able to go into the battles and, you know, have a good mix of things that you can use. I was playing as the, don't know which Descendant it was. It was the middle one. The one with the grenades and things like that. So it might be different
or something.
Pardon?
Lepin or something? Leffen or whatever his name is?
Definitely starts with L.
Yeah.
It's more complicated than Luke, but the fact that you've got a fair bit of shit like at your disposal to make the fights fun and interesting, I really appreciated. But yeah, I think I'd probably have to have a few more sessions before I could really get to probably understand the mechanics a bit more widely. But it does seem like there's a fair bit to chew on minute to minute. I think that's a good thing. I think that's a mistake a lot of live service games like this make, where it feels a bit filler. And I wouldn't say, look, to be honest, that first like set of missions we were doing, I wasn't really following the story that tightly, but it didn't feel that fillerish. But hell, you know, maybe after playing 20 hours, it might all be repetitive. I don't know. So I think we better get your thoughts, because you have put a lot more hours into it than I have.
Yeah. Yeah. I echo a lot of what you're saying. Gunplay feels good. Characters are cool. Bunny's hot. Like, it's pretty. It's a full package sort of game. It really is. I think the problem is
more than I expected for a free-to-play game, which is a good thing.
Yeah, honestly. I think the issue is that, like, it is a bit messy. Menus are very messy. Comprehending exactly how, like, upgrade system works, and even down to like changing a character's skin, how to equip different colors.
Dude, I had to Google how to level up. I had to Google it.
Dude,
and it's like, go over to the big hands. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
There's literally a big fucking hand that you just stand on and you can upgrade.
The game, honestly.
Once you know it's fun.
It is, dude. Honestly, that's my biggest issue right now. Is the game does an excellent job of getting you into the action. The minute by minute gunplay is really good. The story so far is intriguing. I'm very interested to see where it goes. My problem is the stuff that really matters. Yeah. The stuff that really matters when it comes to a looter shooter, the numbers game, is impossible to comprehend. Like, the menus are messy. It doesn't teach you anything that's important. It teaches you stuff that it thinks is important in the moment. But the problem is you level something up, like a mastery level, and it's like, hey, we're going to teach you about that later on. Go do this mission. Well, no, if I'm going to level this up now, I want to know about it now. They need to do a better job of explaining things moment to moment as you unlock them, as you experience it, not when they think you need to know more about it. They should be doing it as you are doing these things. But no, I mean, look, it's like growing pains. Like, I'm pretty, like, looking at like stuff Nexon's done before, this is probably the biggest game that they've ever done, and probably the biggest launch that they've ever had. So there's going to be a little bit of leeway that I will give them. But also, from everything people have said, it's like, hey, they have a tendency to like abandon games if the game doesn't do very well, if, you know, they're not making any money from it. It's like, okay, cool, awesome. I don't think they're going to have that issue for a very long time, especially if they charge it $150 for a skin, which is ridiculous. Again, the monetization on this game is freaking, like, is more egregious than ever. Like, even though it's free to play, like $150 to fast track a skin that I can eventually unlock. I think if you're spending that $150, you're either a fucking moron or have a lot of disposable income. And if you have a lot of disposable income, more power to you. Go for it. You know what I mean? If you've got $150 to burn it. But the dream. But no, all in all, it's solid. It's I need to definitely give more time to it before I can be like, all right, I'm doing a review. But like, it is exceeding my expectations from what I played in the technical test, and that technical test got me excited. I was like, okay, cool. This could be like my next Destiny. You know what I mean? Destiny's starting to like wind down on this big 10-year journey, and I'm sure they're going to wind up to whatever they do next. But you know, this could be the thing that I get to play in the middle, that I can sort of sink my teeth into. And like, yeah, so far it's just great minute-to-minute gunplay, great minute-to-minute gameplay, great characters, great story, really confusing. You like, just everything else is confusing. Just stats, gunplay, leveling up. The menus are not the best. They are very like, hey, we are a looter shooter. Here's our menus. Battle Pass is just so confusing. Like, it's like a meld between a Destiny Pass and like a COD Pass in a way. Like, they do the thing where you unlock the same gun 3 different times in the Battle Pass, which is the Destiny thing. Basically what it is you unlock the gun at the start and you have access to it. But they clearly don't have a way to upgrade weapons right now. So they're assuming that you're going to level up like 10 more levels while you're doing this Battle Pass. So the next time you unlock that gun, it's stronger. Like, it will work against the enemies further up, which is what the Destiny Battle Pass does. But the difference there is Destiny gives you a way to upgrade your weapons. Right now, First Descendant doesn't have that. So I'm basically just like, instead of keeping a gun that I like, I'm never going to be able to upgrade it. I'm going to burn it. Like, I'm just going to hope I pop it again later on. I think they need to work out just cleaner menus, better upgrade system. I think like right now their strengths really lie with the storytelling and the gunplay. Refine, don't change. Like, just refine it, make it tighter if you need to. There's no reason to change the one thing that's actually keeping people interested. And yeah, just fix the explanation to whatever the is going on. Like, we shouldn't have to Google where are the hands in the First Descendant. You know what I mean? Like, we shouldn't have to Google that. The game should be like, awesome, you've just leveled up your mastery level.
I put up a legit map with a big arrow. I'm like, oh, okay, it's over on the left.
Like, it literally, like, all it says is, hey, you've just leveled up your mastery level. Go to the something hands to level it up. Cool. You didn't tell me it was an Albion. You didn't tell me where in Albion it was. You didn't tell me what exactly like happens when I level up. There's a lot of stuff that I'd expect you just to sort of like, you'll figure this out on your own, or we'll tell you when we think you need to know. And that's just not good game design. That's just
by the time I figured it out, I was able to level up multiple times.
Yeah. And that's a problem.
And it's a cool scene. It's a cool system. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining about the actual mechanics of leveling up, but it was just, yeah, the fact that I was mastery level 4 or 3 or whatever the fuck it was, and I'm running around at level 1. Anyway, like, growing pain, you know, like, if this is the first sort of game like this Nexon has done, these probably things will be, you know, we won't even remember these things in a few months' time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
they're growing pains.
But it's just, you know, it's it's like when an 18-year-old, starts making adult decisions. There's adult consequences, right? Like, you make this sort of game and you get the consequences of not leveling up to the other people in, the other games in that league. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
unfortunately, it's going to be compared to the likes of Destiny and like just fucking Titans that have been around for so long.
Yep.
So that is rough in some ways, but if I was a game director and I went up to a publisher and said, hey, I want to make a live service game, and started saying it does this and that and it's sort of like Destiny, well, you got to kind of expect this outcome in a way.
Yeah, true.
But at least it's free to play as well. I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah.
I feel like if people were dropping $100 on this, I'm not saying the game's not worth $100, but the growing pains would probably be a little bit more painful.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Just lastly on it, I think the thing you touched on it before, that like, I'm playing as this guy. I assume that it's different when you play as other characters, and it is. Like, Bunny plays completely different to the character. I just started with the same character as you, but yeah, Bunny plays completely different. And I think that is where this game's like real strength is going to be. Like you look at looter shooters, and like a lot of looter shooters are like, hey, like you play depending on the gun you pick up. And Destiny's like, you've got 3 subclasses to choose from. First Descendant has, I think it's 15 Descendants for you to choose from. So there's 15 different ways to play this game.
It was 3. Yeah,
No. There's 15 different ways to play this game. There are like a ton of different Descendants you can choose from, and all of them seem to have unique abilities. For like example, there is one called Kyle, and he has like an exosuit. He's like the shield of the team. There's another guy, I think his name's like Ellison or something like that. He shoots mines, but then can like shoot a mine and set it off when he wants to. Like he's like an explosive expert. You've got the guy that we chose. He's very much, hello, I missed the Call of Duty, assault rifle, grenade, you know, punch and all that sort of stuff. Like Bunny is quick. Like she has the ability to run super fast. She has a static field. You jump up in the air, the second she hits the ground, it creates an AoE attack. She has an omni beam. Like she plays completely different to any of the other characters. So I think that's going to be a real boon to this game, is that depending on how I want to play the game, I've got the ability to swap between like 15 different play styles as I feel. And they've already announced the next Descendant coming in August. Like they're already looking to the future. They're like, hey, this person, this is what they do. They're a healer, they're this, they're that, they're coming in August. And then yeah, they're all already teasing the next one after that. So they clearly have like, hey, we want to keep adding characters to this game and all that sort of stuff. Like that's good. And I think that's going to be the game's sort of like defining features. It's not going to be the guns, it's not going to be the world, it's going to be the characters, it's going to be the ways to play. And I think if they lean into that, they'll have a very successful future ahead of them. Plus all the characters are super hot and super cool, so they definitely have that going for them. Korea knows what's going on right now when it comes to creating fucking video games. They need to keep making games. It's good shit. But yeah, no, I'm sure we'll touch on the First Descendant again once we've had a bit more time with it. I just definitely wanted to get first thoughts out of the way. And then yeah, I'm excited to jump back in. Honestly, I am. I think for a free to play game, pretty freaking good. Like if you're looking for a meaty free to play game,
yeah, fair comment, very fair comment.
And I mean, in fairness, like it's like, hey, it's an $150 skin. They don't shove that down your throat. I had to go looking for that. It's not like you log on and then they go, hey,
know it is.
If you want this Descendant for $150, you can have them. They're like, don't do that at all. There's no trying to ram product down your throat because you're playing a free-to-play game. They very much treat it like it's there if you want it.
I do think as general, though, that sort of microtransaction that costs more than a traditional game would cost does feel a little steep, though. You know,
yeah.
maybe a $50 microtransaction.
Yeah.
But I do agree. I don't even know where that menu is. I haven't even seen it, so it's not that. Like, I wouldn't say it's down your throat at all either.
Yeah, you've got to look for it. Like, it makes you look for it, which is good. Which is good because it means they're more confident in the game than trying to sell you other stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you find with a lot of those games, you like, for the first hour or two, it's pretty good. And then you hit this little roadblock and they're like, hey, if you want to get past this, here's the shop and you can buy this guy and he can power through. But yeah, right now it's sort of like they're really focusing on the story, which I appreciate because it's actually pretty good so far. Like it's got me interested to see where it's going to go. But yeah, First Descendant.
You love to see it.
You love to see it, mate. You know what else you love to see? Every Friday, you and me coming together to do this podcast, mate. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. Apologies for being about an hour late.
Oh, mate, don't even worry about it. You know, I never get mad. You know I love you. Don't even stress. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening, watching, doing all that fun stuff. If you want to keep up to date with anything we're doing here at 1UP, make sure to head over to oneupgames.com. That's where you'll find links to our socials, links to the YouTube, the Twitch, and whatever articles and videos that have been going up. If you're watching on YouTube right now, thank you. Hello. Please like and subscribe and hit that bell button to keep up to date with everything going on over on the YouTube channel. We actually had a couple of previews go up this week, which is good. Tried Wild Bastards. We'll probably talk about that on next week's show. Actually, it's a pretty fun game. Wild Bastards is great. But yeah, that's gonna do it from us, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. Until next time, may all of your games be good ones, and we will catch you guys next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.